Hi Aries, welcome to Higher Source Tarot for your February 2020 mid-month tarot check for all Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in Aries. So if you have Aries placement in your chart, you are in the right place. Thanks to everyone who subscribed, commented, liked, and shared my videos. I so appreciate your comments, and it really supports the channel and it encourages me to continue. I find this to be a lot of fun. I like doing readings. I like talking about life. I like to share things I've studied and learned along the way. And you let me do that here, so I really appreciate that. Sorry if I talked a long time at the beginning of the February reading. Occasionally that might happen, but I guess what I would tell anyone who that really disturbs, my best advice is wear the world like a loose-fitting garment. Learn to be unconditional in your experience, because something that small, if you were somebody who was really enraged, which Aries didn't give me one comment. So it was Leo really seemed to have a huge problem with it for some reason, but Aries no. However, what I'll tell you about that is if you're somebody that gets angered so quickly, you're bringing that with you into every situation. That's your vibration. So guess what? You're going to attract more frustrating things. I personally would not, and if you dislike my video, that's still engagement for the channel, but on a personal note, I would not do that, because now you're energetically tying and linking yourself to something you don't like. What do you think that's going to do? What you're seeking is also seeking you. So that's my advice on that. So we're going to do your reading, and I won't talk too long. We'll get started here, and I hope all is well. Comment if you've been having any intentions show up in your reality. I've had several, and I'm pretty excited about those. So let me know what's going on with you guys, okay? All right, so for Aries, February 2020 mid-month tarot check. Now, please do know that time is fluid, so this could be, I may tell you if I have a different inclination in terms of a timeline, I'm going to give you that, okay? So don't just decide this has to be February 17th, or, if I got February 17th in my mind, I'd give it to you, though. So let's do a Louise Hay card. It's around Valentine's Day. Sometimes people get a little bit sad if they're single. Don't do that to yourself. You're fine the way you are right now. I am loved and supported by life. Notice all the ways you are being supported. Complete this sentence 10 times. Life is supporting me by... So, there's always somebody that doesn't have as much as you do. So look around you. Look at all the things that you've already attracted into your experience and really sit in appreciation of those. So let's see here. Let's see what your present position is. 8 of Swords might be doing a little bit of a committee meeting in your head. They've called an emergency meeting. Okay, that's what that's called. I had that earlier. 2 is the High Priestess here is crossing it. So those are like the immediate influences. This could be your goal or your destiny. It's the Knight of Wands. In the distant past, you have Death. So I think you may have had an ending here. I do feel like you have had an ending and you're not quite sure what to do. In the more immediate past, you've got the 5 of Wands here. Ooh, but then I like this. In the upcoming future, you do have the Wheel of Fortune. Then you have the 4 of Cups is representing the querent, or you in this case. The 7 of Pentacles. So somebody, I think, is waiting on you for an answer. And then the outcome is Judgment. And then at the bottom of the deck, you do have the 5 of Pentacles. So it's kind of a mixture of things here. So in the, excuse me with that. So in the, you've got the present position as the 8 of Swords. So this is a lot of overthinking. It's air energy. You've got the High Priestess as an immediate influence crossing you. And this has to do with your intuition, with being intuitively guided. So my guess, my thinking on this is that some of you are caught in trying to make a decision or to break free of something that you've been caught in. And so with this High Priestess, this is your inclination that you need more balance, and that the things that you're blinded to are going to be revealed. More will be revealed to you, okay? So what you need to do right now is to get away from whatever it is that you're thinking about. in order to manifest anything, you have to focus on things that allow you to feel good, to be a vibrational match to those higher frequency things like money or a lover or a beautiful home or whatever it is that you want. You have to be on the same frequency as that thing. So sometimes I've seen people manifest like cars, like somebody really wanted a Range Rover, a white Range Rover, and they ended up with a white Volvo. And they changed for a particular service reason, and that car suited them great. Now, was it the exact car? No, but was it similar? Yes. So anyway, and it was like they were both the smaller SUVs. They were very similar looking. So in any event, with this, you need to refocus your energy a little bit. So if you're finding that you're thinking about something or overthinking, or like I said, having a committee meeting in your head that keeps calling emergency sessions, that is a very strong indicator that you need to give yourself some distance and silence from this thing. Focus your attention on other things around you. So as far as elements in this, I didn't really say that now, did I? You've got fire, you've got Scorpio here, you've got earth energy, you've got, did I say air? I think I did. And you do have a little bit of water, but so I think really it could be any sign that we're reading. I don't get a really strong inclination in any particular way that it's, one particular sign or another. But in your destiny, you want action. You want something to move. You don't like to sit around. Aries doesn't like to wait. We are the initiators of the zodiac. Yes, I have I'm an Aries, so an Aries sun. So, and I have a lot of the traits. I understand this restlessness and wanting to move forward with something. I do think for some of you, it could be about career and money, because you do have some pentacles here in places that indicate, and I actually do think things are going to be, if you've been having some financial uncertainty, that is going to be coming to a closure sooner than later. Those of you that it's love, again, you need to get off of the topic, because you're like pinching yourself off from receiving the thing that you want. By part of it is, if we see something in a certain way, like we keep replaying negative events or something we think the person's going to do, or a confrontation, they have no choice but to show up in that vibrational form, because we have already intended it. So they're not going to show up as somebody else, the person we want them to be, unless we intend to have that energy connection. And it's possible too, if you start doing that, you'll draw somebody else in that matches that vibration. So in any event, with this Knight of Wands, you want things to move. You want some action, some movement forward. And I actually think you are going to get that. It might not come as quickly as you would like, but it is coming. You are going to see some movement forward with this situation. Now, you have this card here. There was a transformation. And I do feel like for some of you, a relationship ended, whether it was for some business or for a lot of you, I do think it was love, because you also have the Three of Swords here. It needed to happen, okay? There was a lack of stability within the relationship. There was a true foundational issue with trust, with feeling appreciated, with feeling compared to other people, I'm getting. Almost like you had some really insecure person with some traits where they were, they'd talk about their ex and describe this person as a model, and you'd see the person and there was no way they were a model. It's stuff like that, where it was like the person was trying to almost compete with you, and that had to go, because there's no room for that. It's all ego. Somebody who's doing that is running strictly on the ego. And so here's the thing about this, you probably heard the saying that we're human beings, not human doings. What does that mean? Well, what it means is we bring our beingness into every situation with us. So if we are insecure or resentful or hostile, we bring that beingness with us. So if we're of love and tolerance and open-mindedness, we bring that. And you will match up with that if that's what you're bringing to the situation. So you got sick of fighting with somebody, and it was very chaotic. it was all about change with the Death card, which is transformative. So is the Five of Wands. Okay, this is another indicator that change happened, and it happened for you. Nothing, even if it was abrupt, because I think some of you got upended by somebody where it was felt like it was going to be your lifelong match, and they abruptly ended, or things that you kept thinking, and had an intuition that it was not stable. They finally did something that proved it, and it was very chaotic for you, very uncomfortable. So even though Aries is, like I said, an initiator, we're very dependable, we're very loyal people. So to have somebody do this is like the last thing that you would ever do to them. And I think some of you are even saying like that, I would never have done that to them. But you do have the Wheel of Fortune, and this is all about manifestation and infinite abundance. If you have not been setting your intentions, now is the time to start doing that. There are billions of people out there. If it's a job you want, it's out there. If it's a person you want and haven't met, they're out there. You just have to get very clear, set your intentions, and know that it can happen for you. Once you really believe it, the craziest seeming things will start to show up in your life. This card is always about enlightenment. It's about going through a cycle. It's a 10. So you're going to be beginning a new cycle. It's also represents the fixed signs. So it could be Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio. So if you have a fixed sign, someone under a fixed sign that appears, that could certainly be an indicator. But this lets you know something more is coming. We must die to be reborn. So with that Death card, here you are being reborn, and something beautiful is coming. I have an overwhelming, beautiful, loving feeling. The farther we get in this reading, I have the most peaceful, calm, tingling. And for me, that tells me, for some of you, those of you that resonate with this, okay, it's not everybody's reading. And if you tend to see things through a very negative lens, you're not going to get the things that are coming through with this. You have to change your thinking if that's you. So this is kind of like being born under, kind of a charmed star, or it just seems like everything is going to come into alignment where you just cannot catch a struggle. So whatever it is that you want to do, know that you are on the right path. If you've had some heartbreak, that is coming to an end. So you are going to get an offer, and I actually think whoever this person is, you're not sure you want it, and I think you're going to put the screws to them, and rightfully so. You have every right to do it for whoever this is from, to say, look, here are some contingencies. I'm not going to deal with this again. You've done this before. I'm done playing this game with you, and you're going to need to show up. You're going to need to level up. But I think for you, you are beginning to really develop a self-worth, a self-love, and knowing who you are. And know that you can have, do, or be anything. This person is waiting, okay? They're waiting for you, and they're kind of forlorn. That's the feeling I get, where they have deep regret. Now, again, I said it could also be a work situation, and I do feel like if it is work, it may be that you've left a situation and something much better, or the other thing that could be going on here is you've broken up with somebody, but you're starting some side things, like not relationship-wise, but money-wise. So you kind of, for some of you, because when an Aries gets single, especially if it's a deeply committed relationship, it can rock everything. Then we get worked up about the money, right? And so you're going to take action. You're not going to sit there and worry about money. You're going to find ways to get it to come into your reality. And so some of you may have gotten another certification or done something extra where you're starting to earn more money. And, I feel like they're not as important to you. If there was a relationship that ended, it's just not a priority. And they can see that, and boy, does it make them want you. So, but the thing is, it's like not a game you're playing. It's really that you don't care. You're more interested in building some things and getting yourself whole. There's a great thing, it's called the 7 Essene Mirrors of Relationships, and there's videos about it on YouTube. Greg Braden does a great one. And I believe it's the 3rd Essene mirror of relationships, where we will fall in love with people who represent something we've lost, had taken, or given away. They have that quality. And oftentimes when we've lost it, we're not even aware that we've lost it. And I've seen this myself. I have a friend who I sent to another fully licensed clinician, because that's what I am in my day job. And we've talked about this, and I said, their marriage ended, and I said, you know, what I see in that is this person had a real sense, a very carefree sense, to the point that my friend found it to be very irresponsible. But however, in the beginning, it seemed like fun. And as she became whole in the relationship, she no longer found him attractive. Now, there are ways to work around that, but what I do feel like is you're becoming whole, and it's kind of like this quality in you is no longer attractive to me. So in those people that find themselves that way have to decide, I'm going to be in love with this person anyway. I don't need that quality to be, I know that I'm whole in the relationship. The next level of that is being accepted. Now in this case, I do feel like you've had a lot of heartache, but I also think they're suffering too. And I think they're missing you. And you know, I don't overwhelmingly get third party here, but I do get that there were some influences, some people contributing comments and things that didn't need to be, like saying, oh, you're more like roommates, and things like that, when they didn't really have knowledge of your relationship. I also think too, though, if it's something else like more work related, again, this is somebody who deeply regrets losing you because they realize you were doing a lot of work for them, and how invaluable you were, and how much now, in order to compensate from the vacuum that you've left, to try to fill that is like a never-ending thing. And I think on both accounts, for those of you that you really resonate with the relationship side of this, that person is trying to fill this vacuous space, and it's like never-ending. So judgment is coming, okay? So there is going to be a decision. I do think it's going to be up to you to decide what you want to do. I think some of you need to forgive, and I know some of you aren't going to like that, and that's okay. Doesn't mean you have to get back into the relationship, but when you can hold somebody in compassion, you are free. When you can see, you know, I'm not coming at this from a religious perspective, but I think everybody knows Jesus was a healer and a teacher, right? This is a real person that was written about. And the reason why he was able to do that was he saw the wellness in people, and the most broken people, he could see the wellness. So look at this person as, you know, here's somebody that's broken, and they're damaging people around them because of their pain. And so I don't have to allow myself to be damaged and hurt, but I can see that it wasn't necessarily anything that I did other than try to love the person, or, you know, be in this situation. Now, this also is a lot about awareness and wisdom and balance and truth. It's you know, definitely, I think I mentioned it's definitely about making a decision or getting a decision, but it's also like about letting go of the past and getting on with the future. Okay, so if you're harboring any old ill will or resentment, it is time to let go of that. And I think I've talked about this before, but I don't know if it was on your sign or not, but I met Deepak Chopra a few months ago, and I said, you know, I know I need to let go of a resentment. I'm having kind of a hard time. What's your best advice? And Deepak looked right into my eyes and said, you need to let go of the resentment, not because they're worth it, but because you are. Okay, so you are worth it, Aries. And I love doing your readings. I didn't talk too much at the beginning, so I hope that was better. And I just love you, and I hope if nobody told you today that they love you, I'm here to tell you I love you. You have value, you have worth, and you can have anything that you want. Your heart's desire are yours to have come into your world. So know that, and I'll be back, and thank you again for tuning in. I so appreciate that.